Welcome, everybody. We're talking today with Ted Savransky, once again, professional sports bettor out of Las Vegas, and we're talking about the NFC Championship game. Who's going to make it to Super Bowl 50? A very red-hot Arizona Cardinals team, in my eyes. I think they're hot enough for what they've been going through the last 3 weeks, is taking on the Panthers, who are the story of the year with Cam Newton, possibly the MVP of the league, and rightfully so. This is going to be a ball game, though, that's going to determine a lot on the defensive side, and I believe special teams. Ted, first and foremost, welcome back. Glad to have you with us. What's your breakdown on this game, Carolina against the Cardinals? And is there anything that crept up in the last 24 hours that we might need to know about that could enhance our bets?
Yeah, in terms of late-breaking information, I haven't seen a ton for Carolina, Arizona. I really haven't. Most of what we knew about this game Monday, we know about this game on Friday. There haven't been these little tidbits or, somebody getting nicked in practice. And believe me, you scour the reports all week long to find one or two or three little tidbits. And there just hasn't been a ton for this game. So in terms of breaking it down, it's going to come down to your handicap or my handicap or our handicap as an individual bettor. And, personally, in my mind, only one of these two teams is the undervalued commodity. Arizona has been appropriately priced all year. They put up those big numbers in September. The markets took notice. They have not been an undervalued commodity. They really haven't. The Cardinals have done well against the spread, but you don't look at Arizona's point spread saying, what's the market thinking? Why are they priced there? That's not the case for the Carolina Panthers.
Now, listen, with this, Ted, and again, I want your input on this. Do you think that the fact that the secondary got banged up against Carolina, do you think that right now Cardinals are kind of aiming that game plan to attack, outside your usual 10 and outs and see what they can do deep and try it early? Or do you think they're going to try to establish that running game with David Johnson?
Arizona has been a very aggressive offensive team, and it bit them last week, obviously, with Palmer throwing a pass in a run-out-the-clock situation that allowed Green Bay's two miracle Hail Marys to result in the game-tying touchdown as time expired. But that's what Arizona does. Bruce Arians is an aggressive play caller. Arizona takes shots every game, and they've got a lot of speed on the outside. We talk about Larry Fitzgerald as being, the guy for Arizona. He's not. He's one of the guys. John Brown's the guy that doesn't get any love, who probably should. And, of course, you have Floyd, who's also a speedy weapon for them, capable of big plays. You talked about the weakness that we've seen from that Panther secondary, and it's very real. You can go back to some of our early season games. Carolina has blown a ton of leads this year. Remember the lead they blew against the Colts in the fourth quarter, or the lead they blew against the Packers in the fourth quarter, or the lead they blew against the Saints in the fourth quarter? And that's before the recent ones with the Giants and of course, last week against the Seahawks. And in all five of those games, the story's been exactly the same. An offense that, builds a lead and then kind of sits on it. A defense that is vulnerable to downfield strikes. So what Arizona wants to do offensively may not be the best recipe for Carolina's defense if we get an A game from Carson Palmer.
Interesting points. I like that with those games where they blew those leads. I didn't know there was so many of them. Another call that I'm interested to find out if there's any updates is the condition of Ted Ginn and also Greg Olsen, the tight end. They both experienced some, they had to get taken out of the game last week. Have you heard any updates on their health, and are they set to go?
They are both supposedly in good shape and should be able to suit up on Sunday. Effectiveness is another question, but both Ginn and Olsen should be good to go. But you asked me what's the key to the. I like both of these defenses, and I know that Arizona's had their fair share of injuries in recent weeks as well.
Yeah.
But if you ask me what's the difference in this game, Cam Newton versus Carson Palmer. That's the difference. And Cam Newton is a guy who has won titles at the collegiate level, has stepped up big in playoff games before, stepped up big for them last week, guided the team to a 15-1 record this year. Haven't seen a whole lot of Cam Newton mistakes, not in terms of his decision making, not in terms of his accuracy, not in terms of his should I scramble or should I throw it away. Cam Newton is an elite leader, and he has been since his days in college. Carson Palmer last week, I mean, let's be honest. He threw 2 picks. He probably should have thrown 5. It was his first ever playoff victory. Newton got one last year over the same Arizona team. And of course, he's never won, obviously, a playoff game in his career. And you know what? His cheeks, and I'm not talking about these cheeks. I'm talking about his cheeks seemed to be puckered a little bit tight last week, and that's a concern for me when you're heading on the road in a hostile environment against a team that is still searching for respect and still has something to prove and still is devalued by the betting markets. And with all these blown leads, the defense now has something to prove too, with a little bit of a chip on their shoulder. These are all factors that point me towards the Panthers side of the equation, not towards Arizona catching the points.
Okay, I like that call as well. You're mentioning with Cam Newton, what I saw this year, Ted, more than any year he's been in the NFL, is he matured in all areas, and I have not seen him make a bunch of mistakes because of that. His decision making, it's precise, and he's confident, and he's been healthy. So I think he's going to be that weapon that I don't know if Cardinals are going to have an answer for. So, okay, well, Ted, I appreciate the breakdown. We can't break these down anymore. Now we just got to let them do what they do and play the game. You heard it, viewers. Ted Savransky is looking at the Carolina Panthers to get a home victory and to move on to the Super Bowl. So that's why they play it. And Ted, you haven't steered us wrong yet, so I'm going to cash my ticket with your suggestion. Have a great day. Beat the book, and we'll come back and get with you on Monday.
I look forward to it.